if you like this video. It shouldn't be that hard because it's a fun topic. Yay, rehearsal. In today's video, we are going to talk about everybody's favorite part of presenting, rehearsal. Wait, you didn't think we were going to skip this part, right? Rehearsal is one of the most important parts of presenting, and it's also the part that everybody wants to skip. And there's a reason for that, because it's hard, it's embarrassing. But what we want to do is get all the bugs out before we get on stage, or in our case, in front of the webcam to deliver our virtual presentation. Now I know you've got a million reasons why you don't want to rehearse. And I can guarantee you that in my career working with comms leaders, I have heard every single one. Excuse number one, I want my content to sound fresh and unscripted. Well, look, the point of rehearsal isn't to memorize a script. It's to get on top of your key points. And I can guarantee you that the likelihood of your being over-rehearsed is far, far lower than being under-rehearsed. Excuse number two, well, I've got my slides. They'll guide me through. Don't even get me started. We've got a whole other video, I'm going to talk about that one, where we don't use our slides as a crutch. And so I'm just going to move on. Enough said. Excuse number three, I don't have the time. I get it. We're all busy. And yeah, sure, you can try to wing your presentation. We've all done it. I've done it. But it's a gamble. Either it will land or it won't. And the question you should ask yourself is, how big a gamble can I afford to take with this presentation? Those are a few of the excuses. There are a ton more, and I'm sure you're going to tell me about them in the comments. But let's try to look at some of the benefits and reasons why we want to rehearse. And then we'll look at a couple of ways to do so. One of the best reasons to rehearse is that it helps you refine your content. As you start to speak things out loud, you're going to notice where the bumps are and where you need to adjust a little bit, or where something you thought sounded great on paper just doesn't land well when you're saying it out loud. Rehearsing is a great way to smooth out all of those bumps before you're sharing this with an audience and getting into a train wreck in front of them. Reason number two to rehearse is that it builds muscle memory. In dance and in sport, we repeat and repeat motions over and over again, and there's a reason for that. We want to build up our muscle memory so that a movement becomes second nature. And it's the same with a presentation. When you understand where your milestones are, you don't have to think about them anymore. It just comes naturally. And that frees up a whole lot of mental space for the million and one other things that are going on in the background, especially with virtual presentations where you've got technical issues to contend with. There might be background distracting noise. You've got people chatting with you, SMSing you at the same time that you're trying to convey your message to the audience. So the more mental space you have freed up to be able to handle all of that multitasking and still deliver on point, the better. And rehearsal really helps you nail that. The third reason we want to rehearse is that it helps to build confidence. When you know your marks and you know your milestones in a presentation, it's like having a map to guide you so that if at any point you get lost, you quickly look and find your way back. I hope I've at least convinced you to give rehearsal a try. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Rehearsal can be anything from speaking your presentation into a mirror. I have to admit that's my least favorite one, but a lot of people like that and they find it quite effective. For a virtual presentation, you might try recording it, giving it a test run on a call, a conference call that you set up where there's no other caller, and you record it back and then analyze your performance. This is what athletes do all of the time so that they can course correct and see what went really well, where they needed to improve, and make sure that when they're on game day, they're really nailing it. One of the tougher ones is to share your presentation to a family member. Now, if you really want honest feedback, try a rehearsal with your spouse or your kids, and I promise you, you'll get all the feedback you need and more. At the very least, speak your presentation out loud. What you'll notice is that words on a page, when you say them in your head, are not exactly the same as when you say them out loud. And saying them out loud will give you a better idea of the stumbles and also a much better sense of the time it takes so that you can better fit your content into the allocated time. If you want to deliver a top-notch presentation, do yourself a favor and rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. If you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and let us know about a communication challenge you may be facing in the comments so that we can talk about that in a future video. And while you're there, it would be great if you share some of your own rehearsal tips and things you do that have helped you deliver better presentations. For more insider communication tips, you can find us at balanceblender.com.